Namaste, my friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and today is going to be a full moon ascension energy update for November 4th, 2017. You are probably already feeling it, and maybe have been feeling this potent moon up to maybe even a week prior. I know I have been. The primary focus seems to revolve around a deep healing, a profound cleansing, and a lightening of the load that we have been carrying around throughout our entire life that has been affecting us in a negative and distorted kind of way. We are being made aware of many aspects of ourselves, many emotions that are no longer serving us, and it's appropriate and time to let them go. So that is kind of the primary theme, but I will go ahead, as I always do, and break this energy report down into a few different sub-themes to give you maybe a little bit more clarity. And at the end, for this video in particular, I'm going to share with you 3 tips that will help you really make the most of and thrive during this time. Or if you're really struggling, it'll give you some coping skills and ways to maybe to help lift you up out of a funk if you find yourself in one. And we'll get right into it, folks. Number 1, as I mentioned, I'll reiterate, it's all about healing. It's about we have been given glimpses of where we want to go. You might even be able to sense there's an expansion, a very rapid expansion in your life, in your consciousness, in the collective. It's taking place right now. And there's this sense of forward movement. But as we move forward, the faster we go forward, the more we have to let go, the lighter we have to become. And the awakening tends to kind of focus itself in a myopic way at times. Sometimes the whole focus is, where do I want to go? Who do I want to be? What do I want to become? Oh, and that's fun. That's exhilarating to contemplate your potential as you're coming into a more fuller embodiment of yourself. And then, but now it's kind of a different focus that you might be feeling. It's more like, okay, let's do the inner work now to make those aspirations a reality and possible. Let's heal. Let's let go of the wounds you've been carrying around, the scars, the emotional scars of the inner child. They need to be addressed now because it's too heavy for this higher vibrational direction you're trying to go in. So that's kind of what we're kind of going through. We have to heal first so that we can move forward. But heal, we will. Move forward, we will. And it's still on the horizon, but right now we kind of have to address some things, but that's okay. Number 2, one of the things that you might be noticing as sort of a sub-symptom to this fundamental thing I'm talking about is a growing sensitivity to negativity in general. I was watching this one TV show yesterday. It's a show I used to watch. I was just kind of bored with my wife hanging out. It's called Better Call Saul. It's kind of a prelude or a precursor to the show Breaking Bad. I really enjoyed both those shows. But I was watching this random episode of Better Call Saul just yesterday, and I just realized how depressing it was. It was just so sad to watch these human interactions and just tragedies ascend. These sad situations that, on one hand, when you get into a show, it can be kind of interesting and you're kind of hooked and it's fun to watch and entertaining. But just kind of stepping into it randomly, it was like, wow, I'm just not feeling that. I'm just not really wanting to watch such a sad display of human existence right now. So that's just a metaphor. That's just my own personal example. Maybe you're just more than normal turned off by what's going on in the world, or just even hearing people in your social circles bicker and complain and dwell upon some of the darker things going on. You might just feel more of a resistance. Maybe it's even music or food. You might be lightening up your diet. We're just doing a lot of lightening up. But the lightening up is opening us up more to being able to perceive negativity more intensely. And it's a good thing, but sometimes it can take a little while to adjust and come back into, okay, now I'm sensitive, I can see all this more clearly, but now I've accepted it. We might not be to that acceptance place yet. It might be, again, there might be a sense of growing sensitivity to the negativity, but it will, again, be offset eventually by acceptance. And we'll just keep going. I've gone through this type of cycle many times over throughout my awakening. It always ends up the same. It always ends up with me being more expansive, more perceptive, and more accepting, more grounded. Sometimes during these phases we can, it's like situations that have not been dealt with. Maybe we haven't done this on purpose, but maybe we've sort of neglected to deal with certain things. Full moons can bring situations to a head that basically say, look at this. We're going to force you to look at this. We're going to make this circumstance so obvious and emotionally intrusive. You're going to look at this. And it's an uncomfortable, triggering type of effect, but it's only upon looking at it can you deal with it and let it go and be free of it, liberated and lighter and happier and at a deeper level of peace. And then last is sort of a lighter one. Just maybe it's sometimes we go through phases where we become turned off from heavier foods in general, and that's relative. Some of you might stop eating like red meat, and that's like your heaviest food. Other people, you might already be a vegetarian, and now you're going and I'm going to try the whole vegan thing. I'm not here to judge about diets. I'm just saying there are times where it's advantageous to listen to your body's responses to foods because it can change. Sometimes your body reacts to a particular food in one way, and it may be at one time you're in harmony with something, but all of a sudden you don't want to eat it. It has the appearance of being dense and just like heavy, and you just don't want it. And it's important to be flexible during this ascension process because you're going to be kind of all over the place with that. And again, if you've been getting kind of guided intuitively to change up your diet or lighten up your diet or even your lifestyle in some other way, then you're going to feel better if you do so. So okay, now I'm going to go ahead and get into a few different tips that'll help you with this less than fun energy, we'll say. Number one is you can, at will, if you choose, rise above yourself. Just the other day, I was in my car, and not important exactly what happened, but it was a very minor little unfoldment in my life, and my inner child, we'll say, was triggered. And the way I experienced this, I was just very I went from being in a really good mood to in a really horrible mood, very doubting myself and oh my goodness, the stinking thinking sort of thing. And I knew, on one level, I knew that, wow, what happened, Vic, was so minor, and your emotional responses, frankly, it's absurd. It's totally not a match. But I couldn't help it. The emotions were there, they were potent, and it was tough. So I remembered something Eckhart Tolle said one time in the beginning of his famous book, The Power of Now. He mentioned that right when he lapsed into the enlightened state, he woke up one particular evening with a feeling of dread and despair, he just felt like he couldn't go on anymore. And he had the thought in his head, the very peculiar thought, I just can't live with myself anymore. And then that thought stuck with him. He thought that's a very odd thought to have. What does that imply? I can't stand to live with myself any longer. That implies there are two of us. Me, the one who can't stand to live with, and then the myself. Well, who is this? Who am I and who is the myself? And this, he went back and forth, and finally he fell into the void and became enlightened. But essentially he saw the difference. He saw the separation. You're seeing the separation. Be the you, not the myself. That's what I did. I realized that the person who's so flustered right now due to this little minor inconvenience, it's not me. And I just became the witness. You can become the witness at any moment in time and simply view the wounded self from afar. And that will take the edge off considerably. Number 2 is get some rest. Rest, if you can. Sometimes it's not easy. I know last couple nights, all 3 of my children came into my room both nights. Both nights prevented me from sleeping. I don't know about you, but like past couple weeks, I have been like flying, feeling very energized. Maybe 3 or 4 nights out of the week, I'd wake up at like 2 in the morning and be fine, just ready to rock and roll, just didn't need to sleep. And now it's like, it's the opposite. I feel like I can't sleep enough. My body is grounding itself and it just needs the rest. There's a lot of inner work going on. So if you can, take time to rest, even if it's more than you normally take. You got to be real flexible with this and honor your body. Your body will always tell you what it needs, what it wants, and what will help it. So if you feel like you're just run down, then even if you have stuff on the to-do list or the calendar, schedule in some time to just chill, do nothing. Thirdly, maybe the most important tip I can give you that will help you with this among many other things is to have more self-compassion. One of my favorite books by this writer, this teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, the name of the book is Fear. And one of the main things he talks about when someone is on this process growing towards expanding into enlightenment, said many times the inner child, those stormy emotions will flare up. And it's so uncomfortable, just as I described earlier. And most people, when that happens, they get really frustrated. They say, wow, I'm messing up. I'm backsliding. What the hell is the matter with me? I've been on this spiritual path for a long time, and I'm like stuck in this negative headspace and feeling doubtful and fearful and all this anxiety. Like, man, what have I done wrong? And just, what the hell? You know, we get mad and we get down and judgmental on ourselves. But that, he says, no. He says, when those stormy emotions wash over you, look at it like more in a real light. What's actually happening is that little inner wounded ego, character, inner child of yours, it's almost like another entity, and it's in a considerable amount of pain for whatever reason. Even if it makes no sense to you, it's in pain. So if you feel the emotions washing over you, there's a part of you that is in pain. And look at it with compassion and have the attitude like, oh, okay, what can I do for you, dude? Little Vic, how can I help you? I'm here for you. I love you. It's okay. I got you, man. We're going to be fine. Just have compassion for your pain. And it will transform your pain, your experience in that moment, and it's just a very profound attitude that will catalyze tremendous transformation in your life. So with that, I will close, my friends. I wish you well with this full moon. Have an amazing day. I will see you soon. Namaste.